You do? All right. What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Doing pretty good. What is going on?
Okay, make a long story short. I just kind of discovered my codependency just by my childhood, basically, in a nutshell.
Hmm.
Uh, at the age of 2, my parents divorced. My father took me, and my mother abandoned me. And so my father remarried around the age of 6. His new wife wanted nothing to do with me, and they proceeded to have 4 other children. So I became the scapegoat. And growing up with that till the age of 18 is when I left for college and just kind of ghosted my family.
Okay.
Um, so I was having this conversation with my father, who is a very spiritual and religious person, just trying to confide in him how I felt growing up and how now it affects my relationship now, to where I just try to over caregive. I was the caregiver for all of my brothers.
Hmm.
So, I have this tendency not to be able to leave situations that are unhealthy.
Yeah. I mean, that happens though. When you get conditioned in childhood to be the caretaker and whatnot. For what you just said, it just sounded like you didn't get a chance to be a kid. It just sounded like you had to grow up before your time, which can result in people skipping stages of emotional, connectivity in their childhood. So when you get in relationships when you're an adult, it reflects that sometimes, where it's harder for you to pick up on the signals and red flags and things like that. So you might stay in their relationship longer than what you need to stay because you want to fix it. You want to take care of them. You see what I'm saying? You want to be you the caretaker in this situation. So that does happen quite a bit to people. And, I'm reading the book right now called "The Body Keeps the Score," and they go over. There's a couple chapters dedicated to what you just said right there, growing up in households and things like that, where you kind of remember these situations, your experiences as a child, you relive them in your relationships as an adult. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So to fast forward, I'm having this conversation with my father, telling him the impact of my mother not being in my life,
Hmm.
as well as how he kept her a secret from me. Right. So kind of pointing a finger at both of them. And he basically tells me that I need to get connected with God, that I should be over this by
Oh
this
my god.
point, because if I was spiritually connected to God, then he would have healed me.
Yeah, but
So I felt like I was on fire. Like I was so gaslit from that. I'm just standing there like my entire body's just riddled
mhm.
with fire.
That's according to your dad, that's the lake of fire. That's just because there's Satan right there burning your soul up because you have a relationship with God. That spiritual manipulation is 100. Spiritual manipulation, spiritual abuse is 100% real. It just people just always try to put it on the God's like feet. It's just like why you not over this yet? Like pray on it. I just feel like prayer is prayer good? Yeah, prayer is very good. Prayer can help you out, but you still have to put the work in. And also in this situation right here, when they put it onto God right there, it's just like they are themselves avoiding having to have a conversation with you to take accountability for what they've actually done. You know, talk to God about it. Don't talk to me, talk to God. God got the answers for you, not because I don't. It's a way of avoiding accountability in a lot of these situations right here. Just like
Because
get more holy with it. You know.
yes, because if you're more holy, you're not looking for accountability because you've healed, because God has, you've sidestepped that process of that communal relationship of saying, I'm
Mm.
accountable to you, you're accountable to me. No, whatever happened to you that I did, you can't hold me accountable, because you're supposed to take that to God and
Yeah.
He heal you. He heals the pain from that. So I don't have to
Ooh.
be
Yeah.
accountable.
There's a bunch of examples in the Bible of God holding people accountable. There's a bunch of examples that God is accountable. The God is the God of accountability if He's the God of anything. There's quite a few examples of God holding people accountable for their actions and their sins in the Bible. I've seen Him swallow cities. I've seen Him turn people into stone for turning them around. You know what I mean? He didn't open the ocean up and close it up on people. He done hardened people's hearts. He done left people in the desert because they started worshiping false idols. You know, God is the God of accountability. So it's just like when people like in the situation like what your father's trying to do, he's trying to avoid accountability because accountability brings shame to people, and they don't want to feel that shame. They don't want to feel that situation. They don't want to feel that they're in right now. So in order to avoid the accountability and the shame, he just like, hey, look, here's I got a Bible just for you right here. Here's your Bible, go read it. And a lot of times they have a verse. They have a verse ready. They have a verse in hand, in their mind, ready to use for you right there. Ready to for you and whatnot. So I just feel like
It was Deuteronomy 28:16-68 that
yeah,
I was given the assignment to go read. And that's where my healing would start, when I let go of all my evil ways
oh
and
God,
do what God
Mhm.
asked me to do.
Evil
Then I
ways.
could heal. Yeah, because we're imperfect, so we're not following God's law.
So
So because
no, I'm sorry, but it just in that example, then he's performing evil ways. So you see what I'm saying? It just like it's wordplay. It's just like we're all imperfect. So what is he doing differently? Is he a pastor? He a preacher or something like that?
yes,
Oh,
yes,
no, but so it's just in this day and age. I don't know how old you are, but I'm about to be 38 years old. I just it makes it hard to worship correctly because you see people who use it, who weaponize religion in situations like that. They weaponize religion in ways to help themselves avoid accountability, in ways to put themselves in a like a on a on a higher shelf in this hierarchy of life. Like, I'm above you because I read the Bible. I'm above you because I'm more spiritual. Let go of your evil ways. How is it being evil? Asking him questions about your childhood, because it's evil because it hurts him. You see what I'm saying? Evil is evil because it brings pain upon him, and because he has to avoid accountability. He's like, oh, we got to talk about you worry about your mama? Why? What? Girl, go to church. Here, Deuteronomy chapter 28. Just read this right here and find your healing in this Bible, because you're not gonna find it from me. So it is a very bad situation. I feel like your healing begins when you understand that he's not gonna provide you the answers that you're looking for. You know what I mean? He's
and
just not. He
that's
doesn't want
that.
to.
Like, I can be present now to see that codependency of looking for that validation. And I'm
Mhm.
48 years old, and I'm still waiting for that one magical sentence I can say to him to get him to understand what my childhood was to me and how detrimental both parents played in my codependency. Just, my wreck, my
Mhm.
my adult child is running rampant.
Mhm. But so you see in this situation, it's just like, especially parents from, like, they my mom was born in the 60s, so I'm assuming like six parents that were born in
Mine's the 50s.
the 50s and 60s. So in that generation right there, those parents don't want to hear about how we were raised. You know what I mean?
They
They
don't.
don't want to hear about that. They just want to avoid. Hey, I did the best I could. You know.
Yes, that's the story I keep hearing. Well, they did the best they could, and I feel like now my head blows up every time that I try to get some sort of communication to
Mhm.
say, here, just understand. Not even if you can't accept accountability, just listen. But I can't get to the listen because it's shut down. Well, they did the best that they could. Well, it's generational curses,
Mhm.
and this is what happened to me and my grandparents. I get all that, but I'm
Mhm.
your daughter. And I just want you to hear how your relationship with my mother impacted me my entire life. And I'm still 48 years old looking for answers, as if this will never go away.
Yep. It won't go away because the answers they're not. He's not gonna provide you the answers in that aspect of things right there. Because this is the point I ever had to realize in my own life, is that, like, they could have done their best, and it could also be traumatizing. You know what I'm saying? It could have been their best. It could have been the best of the day. It could have been the best depending upon the knowledge base that they had. The experience, how they were raised. They're like, hey, I did the same thing my mama did. What's wrong with that? I turned out all right. So that's the best they could have done. But it's also traumatizing as well. You see what I'm saying? The best they could also be traumatizing. Like, I did my best to provide for you and all this other stuff. I just so happened to sell drugs, and I was a prostitute. So I had men and women in and out the house all the time. So you saw that, and I did the best I could, though. I did it for y'all. So that's what I had to realize as well. Just like, because my dad was super, like, he wasn't there. He was like super neglectful and whatnot. But even in his space, like I always wonder wonder how he got raised. Like, why does he act like this? Why does he behave? Why does he behave this way? You know. So, and I can't talk to him. He's not gonna provide me those answers. So luckily, call it, faith or whatnot. I got on ancestry.com and I found his father. His father, took his own life, and my father found him at a very young age, and it traumatized him. So it just made him who he is, So I just like, he might have done the best depending on his circumstances. He was a traumatized child that found his father with a gunshot wound to his head in a bathroom on a Monday morning before school. He's on the way to first grade, getting dressed to go to school, and his daddy in the bathroom with his head, a hole in his head. So that traumatized him. So did he do the best he could have done? Yeah, he did the best he could have done with the circumstances that he had. But it's also traumatizing and neglectful towards me. So that helped me kind of release some of the animosity and the anger and the frustration I had with my father, because he's not gonna provide me those answers. He would never tell me that. I had to kind of seek that out on my own. I don't know if you can find the same thing. I just feel like mine was just divine intervention or whatnot. Because how else am I supposed to know who my family is? So I just got on
Exactly.
ancestry.com.
That generation is so secretive. They don't want to tell history. So it humanizes them. So I can say, okay, there were things done to you versus you seeming just the perfect parent, yet I'm going through this trauma in my life and you can't seem to connect, but you block out your trauma. But if you show yourself human, that's all I'm trying to get my father while he's still living to see. Just show me you're human, because what I went through felt inhumane, the abandonment, the neglect, so that I could give you grace, because it's hard to give you grace when I have nothing to base grace upon. I don't have that ability to give you blind grace. I want to know that you're human too. And if things happen to you to where you couldn't be a present parent, or the issues that I feel that I grew up with, the being the caregiver to my brothers, or being made to be so responsible at a young age. I mean, I'm living now. You could say, that you wish you'd done things different. Just don't tell me to take my grievances to the Bible and go get healing, because you're still on this earth. What about our reconciliation?
So what would reconcile? Because I feel like right now in this situation, the way you're looking for reconciliation is not the same way that he's looking for it. He's looking for because the way he's reconciled with his past is he's putting it on God. Then he's doing the same thing with you. I also just feel like if you kind of reframe your experience and you hear how dismissive he's being, that's his admittance to to what he's been doing, what he did when you're growing up. That's how he admits to it. You see what I'm saying? Because if he didn't think it was a problem, he wouldn't just tell you go find God with it. If you just praise him like, hey, Dad, look, I had such a great childhood. Thank you for that. And he was like, yeah, you know what? I worked hard. And he would have a different tone. But the fact that you ask questions, but they make him uncomfortable, kind of show you that that's that is him admitting to what he did, admitting to the past and whatnot. If you look at it from that direction, because if you give him praise, he'll take it, he'll accept it. But if you question him or something like that, if it's not praise, it's criticism. It's like, oh, you're not praising me right now, so I'm gonna put this on God. That's him admitting that he knows you've done. Your childhood wasn't the best. That's him knowing that, and now you're questioning about it. Now you're an adult. You're not a child anymore. You're looking at him as adult to adult right now, and he's
correct.
He's not going to give those words to you like that. Just like, look, I'm sorry that this is that. He's not going to do that. His way of doing that is by telling you to find God, because that's him he's admitting to it, just not in the way that you see. Just not, if you peel back the layers, he's admitting to it, just not in the words that you are looking for. Him telling you to find God, him telling you to find God is him admitting to him knowing that something's going wrong. Because like you can try a test, just like that. Look, I had a great childhood. I'm just so thankful for you. It's all God. He'll say it's all God. It's just like, glory be to God. He'll be smiling in your face, be happy. But when you question it and you just like, hey, look, can you talk about how my situation with my mom and why I was raised this way? Oh, you gotta let the evil go. You see what I'm saying? That's him admitting to knowing what's going on. Whose evil is he letting? Whose evil are you supposed to be letting go? You see what I'm saying? Is it your evil or is it his? You gotta let the evil go in your heart. It doesn't necessarily mean it's your evil. It could be his. You know what I mean? It could be his or the stepmom or whoever the situation was. It could be somebody else's evil that's in your heart that he's telling you to let go. You know, it might not be yours. I don't think you're an evil person. I don't know you, but you know, when he's telling you to let that evil go, it could be very well that he's directing that towards something that he's done. You know, so
Okay.
holding on to the hate that you might have for him from how you were raised in situations like that. So he could be telling you again, just my perspective. I do think there's him admitting to something being different in your childhood and whatnot. I think that's him admitting that something was, you know, not necessarily wrong, but like you know there's a problem with whatnot. You know what I mean? I do feel like if you kind of reframe it and take a step back, you know, it's just like it's him acknowledging. He's acknowledging you by denying it. I mean, by not, he didn't deny it. He just said, like, why are you still talking about that? You know, why are you still on this right
Yeah.
here? He's acknowledging it, just not in the way that you receiving it. You know what I mean? Not in the way you want to receive it, but he's giving it to you, just not in that. Not he's giving it to you like, you know, you want a Mountain Dew, and he's giving you a can of, he's giving you some pineapples. You know what I mean? He's giving you something. You just like,
Correct.
what's in this can right here? Is Mountain Dew in here? You know, you gotta open the can. I know that's a bad analogy, but this is all I got right here.
That's good. That gives me a different perspective because I was completely stuck in this conversation, just ruminating over it. Like this just did not happen. Where I was just sent to a Bible verse and told that I need to get right with God and He would heal me out of this.
What's the Bible verse you said again?
Deuteronomy 28.
Oh, it popped up right. I typed in Deuteronomy. It popped up. Oh, blessings and obedience. Did he say a particular chapter or Deuteronomy or verse?
I believe it's 16. Starts at 16 through maybe 68. So
he told you to read all that.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, but you see it. Oh, goodness gracious, that's kind of dark right there. So the chapter says blessings for obedience, but then it goes down. It says curses for disobedience. However, if you do not obey the Lord your God and do not carefully follow all his commands and decrees I'm giving you today, all these curses will come on you and overtake you. You'll be cursed in the city and cursed in the country. Your basket and your kneading trial will be cursed. The fruit of your womb will be cursed. So yeah, it's dark. It's a very dark verse. You know, just reading the first chapters of it right there. But I just feel like now he's just like, you're barking up the wrong tree. You're making him uncomfortable, so you're going to get cursed or something like that. You know, I just feel like when I just read the first verse, I'm like, oh, curse for disobedience. Like, are you disobeying your father, or are you disobeying God? You know, I just feel like, yeah.
And
So
he specifically said I was disobeying God. That
okay. So now
I'm not living by God's law.
Which law is that? Because people have very different interpretations of the law of God, and they try to bend God's laws to fit their narrative in this situation. You know, that's a very unique dynamic. It's a very unique dynamic. Like I said, I read the entire Bible because I was super lost. Because I do believe in God. You know, I just hate when people use God as a tool of manipulation. You know, I do. But like I said, you can also find healing in it. Just he's admitting to doing something wrong. He's just not gonna come out and just say it. He's just like, okay, look, you why are you bringing this up? You know, it makes him uncomfortable.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that different perspective to allow me to let some of it go.
Yeah. Just like I say, you can find healing in the Bible. You know what I mean? It's just like
you definitely can, but I was being very specific to have a communal conversation about our relationship. So, you know, on an adult to an adult level, but that's where I was side. It just threw me off when it went directly to that. And then from there, there was no more conversation. It was like, okay, love you, bye.
Yeah. So in that space right there. So that is a very unique dynamic to be in, you know. I just feel like they always, when a parent or a pastor uses the Bible, especially like that, they make it seem like the child has violated them and disobeying them by questioning the way they were raised or any type of situation like that. So that does happen quite a bit, though. You know,
it definitely felt like a religious gaslight.
Oh yeah,
because
there's a little hint, little sprinkle of gaslight in there, just like, oh, but like I said, again, when he did admit to it. Just like you got to peel back the layers of it, like the little biblical onion right there. You peel back the layers of it. Might make you cry a little bit, but you'll get to the center of it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like that's a different, very unique space to be in.
Thanks, Lee.
That's no problem. That's what I'm here for. I like to listen. I like unique perspectives and things like that as well, because it helps me. Just you talking and telling your story helps other people too, because it's people in the comment section like, oh yeah, you got to open the can. Looks can be deceiving and things like that. See people. It's helping other people. I feel for her because this woman said, my pastor texted me and told me that I turned my back on God when I left. So it's just like you see it. Everybody has their own interpretation of what God is saying. So
yeah.
You just interpret it in a way that helps you heal. No, baby steps.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
No problem. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Seriously.
Bye-bye.
Just be safe. All right. Bye.
You too.